On February 28th, 2015, a new private server launched called Nostalrius. But this server was a little different than the others that had come before it, featuring smooth gameplay and substantially less bugs than other WoW private servers that had come before it. The server exploded in popularity, and within a year, the server had peaked at around 13,000 concurrent players. By this time, it had kind of become hard not to notice, and on April 2nd, 2016, Blizzard sent a cease and desist letter to the development team behind the project, and by April 10, 2016, the server was shut down for good. Well, we are once again at that point where Blizzard does a massive purge of private servers for anything World of Warcraft related, as even in the presence of official classic servers, Turtle WoWs not only existed, but thrived, and boasted a concurrent player base of around 6,000 to 7,000 players. On August 28, 2025, Activision Blizzard has officially filed a lawsuit with the U.S. District Court on grounds of copyright infringement. It's not hard to imagine that a big part of this lawsuit will be to get the server ultimately shut down, and understandably so, because the server has become kinda hard not to notice. But why? Why, when there are legitimate WoW servers out there, are people turning to these passion project servers? Is it because they are free? Well, that could explain some of it, but there are tons of studies out there that show most people, whenever possible, try to bait things through legitimate means. So that's probably not it. More than likely, the biggest reason is because it's the version of Classic Plus people have been asking for. And we've been in this position once before. Just like in 2016 when Nostalrius got shut down, it wasn't about the money. This is a company that posted $8.1 billion in revenue in 2024. It wasn't really about losing subscription either, because Blizzard stopped posting those numbers in 2016 also. But it was simply because you were playing a version of the game that Blizzard didn't really want you to play. The honest reality of it is, like it or not, but the lion's share of that profit came from microtransactions. Think of it like this: even if you had 10 million players paying $15 a piece, and they all subscribe for 12 months straight, that only comes out to about 1.8 billion. So even looking at retail, which stopped being an MMO almost a decade ago and started becoming kind of a glorified collection game, boasting 1,100 mounts and over 2,000 pets, it's pretty obvious where their focus is, and it makes me kind of sad, as the 2019 re-release recaptured some of the magic that I had missed out on so dearly. And some of the greatest memories I have had in the last 15 years have come from that relaunch of the game. I did admittedly take a break midway through Wrath, but did come back for Season of Discovery, and although I won't criticize anyone who actually enjoyed it, it really felt like someone who ripped off their college essay through ChatGPT. It felt like the laziest attempt at classic humanly possible, like a group of executives sat in a room and said, okay, how can we milk one more year out of these classic players while putting in as little money to development as possible? And although some of the new dungeons, like Karazhan Crypts, was actually a nice addition, the leveling experience for most players simply came down to go to a PvP zone, grind for hours, and ignore the rest of the world. And that was part of the problem. That really wasn't the Classic Plus most people have been asking for. I think most people, myself included, wanted the Classic experience with some minor changes. Things like dual spec, a little more quests, and some more fleshed out zones, overhauled graphics, some new zones and new dungeons, and some minor tweaks that made more specs raid viable. Not just a ton of Wrath of the Lich King and Burning Crusade talents. Simple things like giving paladins spiritual attunement and a taunt, and maybe making warriors generate 100% more rage when they have a shield on, or lifting the target cap from things like Thunderclap would have done wonders to improve the quality of the game. As I've been playing on the anniversary servers a bit, I still get a ton of enjoyment out of it, but it's pretty obvious the client base just isn't there. Maybe there are more than I realize, but it's kind of just feels like Stormwind and Ironforge are kind of barren. Maybe there's a little bit of classic fatigue going on, who knows. But maybe it's just the player base is so split up between 6 different versions of the same game. I mean, think of it. You have Retail, Era, Hardcore Anniversary, and Mists of Pandaria Classic, which kind of divides your player base to hell and back. So it's no wonder it seems like the world is kind of a dead experience for so many right now. It is possible to do a remake or re-release of a game and have it come out of an obvious place of love. I mean, look at Capcom and the Resident Evil remakes. It's pretty obvious they tried to be just a little bit different while respecting their core fan base. The problem is though, I simply don't trust Blizzard to do the same thing. Blizzard didn't re-release Classic because it wanted to, it did it because it had to. It did it because it became too big to ignore, and who knows, I think it's very possible, in fact very likely, that there might be a Classic Plus version in the works. But the question is, what type of a Classic Plus is it going to be? A very polished version of a Legacy, or a very dumbed down version of Retail? I guess only time will tell.